Hello everyone! The holiday season has come to an end and life is getting back to normal. Whatever that means. I don't know what that means anymore. But as you know, if you have been a part of our channel, we took a break for the month of December and so much has happened. I just wanted to do a welcome to the new year life update so you can get a small glimpse into what we've been working on, what's been happening during the past month through the holidays in our family. If you're new to our channel, my name is Melody. I'm the mom of 4 in our blended family of 6. I homeschool our youngest 2 and our older 2 go to public school. They're in high school. Our children are, I should know this, 9, 11, 14, and 17. The younger 2 are having birthdays this month, so in just a couple weeks, I will have a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 17-year-old. And it is really hard for me to wrap my head around the idea that my youngest will be double digits. But it'll be okay. It's okay. It'll be fine. I just need to remember back when she was just a cute little baby and she never slept. Like never slept ever. And remember how exhausted I was and just be grateful that now she's 10 and she sleeps through the night. So thank you for that. Anyway, on today's subject, life update, what has been going on in our home. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. That is not on the subject, but I always forget to say that. And follow us on Instagram at Homeschool Happy Hour to check out all the cool things going on in our world. You may notice that my background is very bland today, and that is because this is my new filming spot. One of the updates I have for you guys is that we finished our addition that we were working on our house, which was an additional bedroom. And while it's not completely finished, we still have some trim and eventually put in a nice floor and whatnot. We have moved in, and as a part of our addition, I've set up this nice little corner for myself to do my filming in so that I can go into my bedroom and film, hopefully without interruption from all the kids and the goings on and the noise that is constantly going through our house. I need to spice up my space a little bit, but I haven't gotten there yet, so we're just gonna go with bland for today. Anyway, what else has been going on? I signed up to work as a substitute in the local schools, so I've been subbing in the local schools during this last month, and I look forward to doing more of that in the new year. I'm really excited about that. I have also decided to go back to school. So I don't know if this was a good decision or if this is one of those situations where I just want to set myself up with too many plates to spin. But I've always had a passion for sign language, and I had decided that I'm going to go back to school in the fall to learn more sign language. And hopefully, after I've taken some classes, get accepted into their interpreter program. So cross your fingers for me. I'm really excited. We have introduced, or I should say reintroduced, sign language into our home. When the younger 2 girls were little, I used signs with them as babies, and they could sign to communicate basic needs with me before they could ever speak. It was amazing. I strongly recommend using sign with infants and toddlers because it, I believe, stopped so many potential tantrums because they were able to communicate with me. When they didn't have the words to say it, they could sign it. And so we have reintroduced sign language. I'm really excited about it. The bookworm is really excited about it. That's another change. The bookworm has informed me that she no longer wants to be referred to as the bookworm. I don't know. Her love of books hasn't changed. She's still reading them by the stack. But she has come to start calling me the warden. I'm going to assume that is meant in a loving way. And so she's now prisoner 003. I don't know. If you understand the humor in our household, you'll understand it. She loves her new name. So from now on, if you hear me refer to the prisoner, that is the child formerly known as the bookworm, because I don't know, she's going to be 12 this month, and maybe it's a pre-adolescent thing where she just thinks that's cool, but we'll go with it because that's what she wants to do. Anyway, the prisoner has decided that she is really excited about learning ASL. Bean Bean, not so much. She says she's not excited about it, but her and Skippy have been loving signing to each other. So sometimes I'm not sure, like, do they tell me they're excited or not excited because they just don't want me to know they're not excited, or are they really not excited? I'm not sure. Their actions say they're loving it. Her words say maybe not so much. So we'll see. Either way, we have added ASL back into our daily homeschooling routine. We have also added handwriting back into our homeschool daily routine, something that I had kind of put by the wayside, but I found that with my kids in particular, they won't do it. If I tell them just write nicely and that'll count, we don't need to have a set aside handwriting time, they just don't. Quick hot chocolate break. Other updates. What do we cover? Subbing, college, sign language, handwriting. During this time off, I have hot chocolate, marshmallows, chewing on my marshmallows. I know it's weird to see somebody chew after they just do a drink, but that's what we're doing. I have taken this time to catch up on some reading, and I love reading. I love books. I very rarely have time to sit down and read, but because I didn't do YouTube and Instagram and those kind of things during the month of December, I'm gonna grab my books. I had time to do some more reading, which I was really excited about. Here's some of my books. I will go through them with you one at a time. This first one is The Coddling of the American Mind. I actually did not read this month. I listened to the audiobook of this a couple months ago, and I gave it to Don Diego to read because I felt like it was an invaluable piece of literature. Oh, sorry, my dog is going crazy. And she's going to potentially be headed off to college this fall. She's still undecided on what she wants to do, but we have a couple trips to a couple different colleges that she has been accepted to planned. And so I had her read this book. I strongly recommend, if you have a teenager, have them read this and read this. This is an excellent book, and it's full of great resources on college information. For book club, which if you haven't checked that out, shoot me an email if you want to get involved. But for our January book club meeting, we will be reading Counting by Sevens. So I finished reading this book and I loved it. Holly Goldberg Sloan. It is about a young girl with very unique talents and making her way in the world after a serious tragedy. Check out that book. I just finished reading this one because I like to put together the questionnaire for the kids for book club in advance, so I need to get that email sent out. This book is the book that we've been reading for homeschool for our read aloud. We do a read aloud each day. I've read this book before, but I decided to read it with the kids. It's not very long. Also a good one. Oh, let's see. I've got a list of books, stack of some of these books I haven't started reading yet. This one, Teenage Liberation Handbook. I actually got this for The Prisoner, but before I had her read it, I wanted to read it. And as you can see, I'm not very far into the book. It's very dense. There's a lot in here, and I've just been reading like one chapter at night before I go to bed. So I'm thinking it might take me forever to read it, especially now that we're jumping back into real life. But the reason that I got this book is because the prisoner is 11. She'll be 12 this month. She has been doing 7th grade, and she's been participating in 7th grade sports, even though she's 6th grade age. But academically, school has always just been really easy for her. Math is not her favorite subject, and I think like anyone, they have their strengths and their weaknesses, and she does fine in math. She thinks she does really badly in math because she doesn't excel at it at the same level that she excels at other things. But I will be putting together a video on working with accelerated learners, because we have decided that next year, instead of doing 8th grade materials, we're just going to start high school. So I'm mildly terrified about this, and I will talk more about that in next week's video so that you can have a little peek into my brain as I go blah, as we talk about my 12-year-old starting high school in the fall. But this book is really focused on unschooling and how to self-educate, and so far there's some things that I'm like, that's really not my style, and there are some things that I thought are, you know, food for thought, worth thinking about. Just as with any book, you take what you like and you leave the rest. And so I'm curious to see where this one goes, but I think that it's going to have some valuable tidbits in here that I look forward to incorporating in our day as we go towards high school and as we're leaning more towards child-directed learning at the same time. So, another video. That's a whole nother thing. Next, life update. As I said, we've reincorporated sign language, and so this is not a sign language dictionary. It's actually more of a course book. And so I've been reading through this, also just started, and getting ready for fall and sign language classes that I intend to take in the fall. So that has been a lot of fun. 2 other books that I haven't started yet that I have in my stack. And the reason that I'm sharing them with you, even though I haven't started them, is just because it's a part of our life update. So, I'm sure none of you are aware, but I have hypoglycemia, non-diabetic, thank goodness, and my 11-year-old prisoner is also hypoglycemic, non-diabetic, thank goodness. But with the holidays, we find ourselves having trouble managing our blood sugars, and for us, that usually demonstrates itself in serious mood shifts. So, I mean, we all know the term hangry. It's a serious thing in our house. If we're getting hungry or our blood sugar is dropping, we have about 15 to 30 minutes before we become entirely different people. And this has been something I've dealt with for many years. And so I do a decent job of managing it. But as the prisoner is hitting and going through puberty and hormone changes and that kind of stuff, it's hitting that poor girl really hard. And so we have spent a lot of time trying to manage her blood sugars and keep her healthy, and not only keep her happy, but keep her tolerable, because she gets hangry on a whole new level. Some people might think that's a joke, like, oh, they're hangry, whatever, just eat a snack. And to an extent, that's true. A snack does help, but this particular child has, ever since a young age, it took me a very long time to realize that she was hypoglycemic, and she would just be off her rocker and unexplainable, couldn't figure out why, couldn't manage her behavior. I tried all the different things. I've read so many parenting books on how to manage tantrums and this, that, and tried this method and that method and that method and that method, and nothing worked. Everything backfired. Everything just made it worse until I realized it was food. Seems like a simple answer, but it took us a long time to figure out that's what we needed. So sometimes she gets to the point where her blood sugar gets so low that she can't function emotionally like she should be able to. And it just comes down to, you have to eat something right now. But because she's not functioning, because she's not functioning emotionally or cognitively at the level that she should be, this idea of having to eat, it just makes her more angry, and she doesn't want to eat, and she's resistant to eating something. But then if you can just get her to eat like a piece of, like a half a turkey sandwich or something like that, within 5 minutes, she's a different person. It's crazy. So anyway, our next book that we will be reading, I got it for both her and I, is The Do's and Don'ts of Hypoglycemia. If you've read this book, if you know anything about hypoglycemia and you have tips, I'm open to hearing them. I'd love to hear about your experience, and what works and what doesn't work for you. I know this is a very individual situation, but we are digging deep into how to make that better for everyone and give her the tools she needs as she gets older, because this is not going to go away, unfortunately. And then of course, we've got my 10-year-old Bean, who loves snacks and baked goods and watching TV, and she loathes exercising, and she is part of the proud Couch Potato Club if I let her. And so I'm got this book for her and I, and in an effort to encourage her to stay active, to eat healthy, that kind of stuff, because we really focus on trying to build healthy lifestyles with all of our kids. And it's not about size, it's about just taking care of your body. Our children are all very different. Their bodies react differently to food. I'm not worried about how they look physically. I am worried that they're eating healthy and that they're staying active, so that as they get older, they can continue to have a healthy lifestyle. I want them to live a long, long time. So anyway, those are all the books that we did. That's all I got. So thank you for joining me. I hope that video was of some value to you, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. I will catch you later.